So let's start with that big question. Have you ever had one of those days? You get to the end, you feel totally drained, but when you look back, you can't really point to what you did. What's actually going on inside our heads?
Well, the good news is it's not you. You're not lazy, and this isn't some kind of personal failure. The answer is actually a biological one. Your brain is simply struggling to keep up with the constant stream of information in our modern world.
To really find a way out of this, we first have to understand what's happening at a neurological level. So let's take a look at the real cost of all this constant mental activity.
Think about this for a second. Your brain has about 86 billion neurons. You can imagine each one as a tiny little light bulb, flickering on and off all day long. And every single time one of those neurons fires, it uses up a little bit of fuel.
Now, that fuel is a molecule called ATP. And with every decision, every notification you check, every time you switch from one task to another, your neurons are burning through it. As they do, they release a chemical byproduct called glutamate. Think of it like cognitive exhaust. And as that glutamate builds up in your brain, it creates a real biological pressure to just stop. That's the feeling we call mental fatigue.
But you know, it's not just an energy problem. All of that constant stimulation is also rewiring your brain's entire reward system in a really fundamental way.
To get this, we need to talk about your dopamine baseline. So just think of it as your brain's default setting for motivation. It's the chemical level that determines how much you actually want to do things, even when nothing exciting is happening.
And here's where we get caught in a really tricky cycle. Every time you get a notification or scroll through a short video, you get a tiny, effortless hit of dopamine. It feels good, but your brain adapts to this by raising its baseline level. And what that means is, to feel that same level of reward, you now need even more stimulation. The result? Deep, meaningful work. Work that pays off slowly, starts to feel neurologically boring.
And this is the crucial part. Our brains literally stop rewarding us for the very things that lead to long-term success and fulfillment. We've accidentally trained our minds to crave that quick, cheap hit, leaving us feeling unmotivated for the work that actually matters.
Okay, so if that's the problem, how do we break the cycle? How do we reset our brain's reward system? Well, the solution is actually pretty counterintuitive, but it's incredibly powerful.
The answer is to intentionally embrace boredom. I know, it sounds strange, but by choosing moments of quiet with no external input, we give our brain the space it's desperate for to clear out all that glutamate and recalibrate its dopamine system.
Now, this isn't about being unproductive. You should think of it as a strategic mental cleanse. When you just allow yourself to be, maybe on a walk without a podcast, or just sitting with your thoughts, your dopamine baseline slowly starts to lower back to its natural, healthy level. And when that happens, things like reading a book or thinking deeply about a problem start to feel interesting again. This quiet space is where true creativity happens. It's where your mind can finally connect different ideas in new ways. Okay, so we've got the neuroscience down. Now, let's turn this into a really practical framework you can use to structure your day, one that protects your ability to do that deep work.
So you can think of your work as happening in two different modes. Maker time is for the deep, creative stuff, writing, coding, strategizing. It requires long, uninterrupted blocks of focus. Then there's manager time. This is for the shallow stuff, answering emails, hopping on calls, quick meetings. The problem for most of us is that we let our manager time constantly chop up and invade our maker time, so we never actually get into that state of deep focus.
The key, then, is to start treating your maker time as sacred. It's your most valuable asset. You have to schedule it, and then you have to defend it relentlessly. This is the time to put your phone in another room, turn off all notifications, and let people know that for this block of time, you're completely unavailable.
So here's a simple, actionable plan you can use. First, block out your mornings, when your brain is freshest, for that deep maker time. Second, make it a habit to practice intentional silence every single day to reset that dopamine baseline. Third, bunch up all those shallow manager time tasks into one block in the afternoon. And finally, decide what you're going to work on the night before. That way, you don't waste precious mental energy in the morning just figuring out where to start.
So here's the ultimate takeaway. This state of constant distraction and exhaustion, it's not a personal failing. It's a completely predictable neurological response to our environment. But the responsibility to manage it is ours. By understanding and working with your brain's chemistry, by embracing silence and fiercely protecting your focus, you can shift from being reactive and tired to being profoundly creative and fulfilled. And the only question left is, what will you create?